What's going on, guys? Hope you all are learning and improving day by day. This is the part 4 where we actually start the client side of this project. And the project is our GUI chat app using Python. So right now we've finished everything in the server side. And for sure, you'll see down in the description below the part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this video series. Now it's time for the client side. So the first thing we need to do is we need to actually create a file. I'll go to my project and I right click on it, click on new, and then Python file. I'm going to call this client.py, save it right there. Now we have our client.py file. Another thing I'll do is that we will need these modules that we use for the server side. So I'm just going to copy it and bring it right here and paste it. But for sure, we need to add some other modules. Like for instance, we'll need to import sys. I'll also need to import later on Tkinter, but I'm going to put it there just so I have it already installed, imported as TK. So this is our GUI. We're using Tkinter for the GUI. Now that we have all the modules imported, the first thing we need to do is we need to create our send class. And the way we do that, we'll say class keyword, and the send is a capital. Inside here, we're going to give it an input of threading.thread, and the thread is with a capital T. So what are we doing here? This send right here, it listens for the user input from the command line. So I'll just put it right here. And this sock right here is going to be the connected sock object. And the next one is we'll have name, which will be a string. So I'll just put str right here. What this is the username provided by the user, because you need to enter the chat room with a username, just like you enter Facebook or whatever chat you enter, you need to create your username. And whenever you actually write a message, it's going to show your username and then the message. So, because we need to know who is writing the messages. So that's why we have this. Okay, so now that we have all this in check, we'll say def underscore init self, but we'll add sock and we'll also add name. And we say super again, dot underscore init, say self. So this is going to be very similar to what we had in the server side. I'm sure you're noticing the similarities. Now we do the same thing for name. Now that we have this, the next method we need to create is a run method. So we just define it, we'll call it run. Now what this run method is going to do, let me just put it in the comments and make sure you listen to me while I say this. The run method is going to actually listen for the user input from the command line, and when it does this, what it's going to do, it's going to send it to the server. And when you type quit, it will close the connection and exit the application. And the way we'll start this run method is we'll start with an infinite loop. I'll use the while true. And what we'll do here is we're going to print, we'll put a curly bracket right here, open and close. Then we use the colon, create some space. Then we do dot format. And inside here, we'll have self.name. And then a comma, and then we use end. Now we're going to use the sys that we imported. We say sys.stdout dot flush. Next, we say message, create a variable called message. I'll make this equal to sys.stdin dot readline. Right here we do the colon because we're basically telling it where it should start reading it from. So what we're doing here is we're using this colon -1 to slice the last character, so we don't want the last character. What we need to do is that if we type quit, then we leave the chat room. So I'll just put a comment right here. So the way we do that, we use our if statement. We'll say if message is equal to capital QUIT, So what we're saying is if message is equal to capital QUIT, which is quit, what we want to do is we want self.sock to send all. And what it's going to say here is going to say server, and then it will say the name of the person who typed the quit. After that, it will say has left the chat. So that's what we want to put now in strings. So we say dot format self.name dot encode ASCII. And after that, we just break. So we break out of the loop. Now, if we type anything else, that means we're basically broadcasting. Yeah, so we say else, say self.sock dot send all. It's very similar to this actually, so I'm just going to copy this right here, paste it, but there are minor differences. We're not going to say, oh, has left the chat room because the person is not leaving the chat room. Put a colon right here, put another curly bracket, then we say dot format. But right here, what we want to do is we want to actually put the message. So we'll put comma message. So right here, the name is going to show and then the message is going to show up. And earlier we talked about the importance of encoding it so that the message comes out in the right format. Next, we'll print, create a new line. We'll create a new line for that. And we'll say quitting. Put the dot 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 because it makes it look more dramatic. Self.sock dot close. Now we use OS to actually exit. Exit, and then we put 0. Now that we've done this, it's time to create our receive class. And please make sure that you see that your receive class, the indentation, because we are using Python and indentation is extremely important so you don't get errors. We indent it to the final. So it should be the same indentation with our send class. So we create a class and we'll call it receive. It's going to have threading.thread. Now what this receive thread does is that it listens for incoming messages from the server. So let me just put that in here. And what I'll do here is I'm just going to copy this right here because it's very similar to what we did here. We're just going to add for messages too. So paste it right here. You can see what else I'll do. I'll say self.message or messages is equal to none. What we do next is we need to create our run method again. And this run method is going to receive data from our server and it will display it into our GUI. So we're also going to start using the GUI. I could easily have made this first a command line app and then a GUI app, but I don't want it to be too long. I just want us to get to the point real quick and easy. So that's why I'm doing it this way. But right now, we're also going to add all the functionalities that our GUI is going to have. So you'll see me using tkinter or tk more often now. We'll create our method, which is run. Okay, so we'll say while true, message is equal to self.sock.recv, say 1024 dot decode ASCII. What we do next is we'll create an if statement. So we'll say if message, I want to say is if self the message the messages, then self the messages dot insert, say tk dot end and then the message. Now we'll print hi. So right here we're going to split the line. So we'll say -r/r, and then put our curly bracket. Now we say /n, curly bracket again, put our colon, create a space. Now we say .format, message, and then self.name, and then the end. So for our else statement, what we want to do here is we want the thread to get started. What happens here is that the thread has started, but the client GUI is not yet ready. So what we'll do is we'll basically just print the same thing right here. I'm just going to copy this and paste it. Now create another else statement right here. The thing here is that the server has actually closed the socket and want to exit the program. In case we actually lose connection for some weird reason, what we want to do here is we want to print I'll create a new line. I'll just say no. We have lost connection to the server. And then we're going to just print quitting again. Say self.sock.close. And also os.exit. The next part is we create a class for our client. This client class right here is going to do a lot of things. It's going to manage the client and server connection and also the integration with our GUI. Okay guys, now we'll have a def underscore init self, but inside here we'll have our host and we'll also have the port. Now we'll say self.host is equal to host. Self.port is equal to port. Self.sock is equal to socket. The socket in brackets here we say socket again .afinet, and then we say socket .sockstream or sock underscore stream. After this we'll have self.name is equal to none, and also self.messages is equal to none. The first method we're going to create here is a start method. And what this method does is it's going to establish the client and server connection. It's also going to gather the user input of the username. And what it does is it's going to create and also start the send and the receive thread and also notify other connected clients. So we'll say def start right here. And what we're going to print here is we're going to print trying to connect to, put our curly bracket, and then we put another curly bracket. We'll say dot dot dot. And then we say dot format self.host, and as you guessed it right, self.port. So self.sock.connect, say self.host, and also self.port. What we want to do next, we want to print successfully connected to, and then we'll put the host and also the port. The format, and then we'll say self the host and also self the port. Now we're going to print, and this is just to create some space, and we'll say self dot name is equal to inputs, and what it's going to say is going to say your name. Create some space so you can put your name. We'll create some space with this print. You don't necessarily need to do this. You could also use a new line, but yeah, this is just the way we're going to do it with this. And what we'll say next, we'll say welcome, put the curly bracket, getting ready to send and receive messages. Then we just put the format, so self.name. We really need to create a send and a receive thread right now. So we just create a send and also a receive. So we'll say send is equal to send with a capital. We'll say self.sock and also self.name. We'll also receive. And then we say receive is equal to, we'll say capital receive, self.sock, and self.name. Now that we've created the send and the receive thread, we need to actually start the send and the receive thread. So we just say send.start and also receive.start. We'll say self.sock.sendall, say server, put the curly brackets, has joined the chat. Say hi. Say what's up. Then of course we say dot format, self.name, dot encode, ASCII. What we do next is we're going to print. We'll say ready to go. Or just say ready, because ready to go might seem like something else. And after that, we'll just say leave the chat room anytime by typing quit. So basically telling you what to do. And I'm just going to print right here. Dot format, we'll say self.name. And we'll return receive. What we do next is we're going to create our send method, and this send method is going to take the text input as its input or its argument, and this is going to send that text input data from the GUI. And this method should be bound to the text input and also any other widget that activates a similar function. So either the button or we're typing quit. So we'll lose the connection or the connection will be closed and the app will also be exited. So we just say def exit, the text input. So, okay, guys, so we're going to take a break right here, a water break. Just relax. Make sure you copied everything and your code is correct and up to point to this. And for sure, the next part, we're going to finish this GUI chat app and we'll be able to chat with our friends and all that good stuff. So make sure you take your break. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like the vid, guys. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. And you know what? I'll catch you on the next one.